Hi, one of the things that I was thinking about, it was actually something that I think Coco brought up today in class was, you know, a lot of the schools to which I'm applying are in rural New Hampshire and Maine and some in Massachusetts, I guess, and a lot of ethnically homogeneous, an ethnically homogeneous population is generally what I expect to be teaching at least next year. And Coco brought it up in the context of how can we still have these conversations? How can we, because it's not like there are no, racial issues going on in an ethnically homogenous population. Um, and so I kind of wanted to take it a little bit of a different direction in that. So the past couple days, we've been learning a lot about the reality of, that school to prison pipeline in a lot of areas, urban areas around the country. And I know that the Boston area is it's got to be one of those. I mean, my mom is on the board of a bunch of charter schools, and she's been trying to get herself involved in education in the Boston area. And she's been talking to me all the time about issues they're having with the public school system and violence and the justice system, etc. All these things we've been learning about. And my question here is, how can I still have some kind of positive impact on that situation when I am more likely to be physically removed from it, in that I will be in an area most likely that is apart from all of these areas we've been learning about that have these issues. And so how can I still have some kind of impact on that when I'll be teaching kids and living in an area that is not involved with a lot of those issues? Some of them still. And another thing that Cindy was bringing up, because she will be teaching in Maine, I actually hope to be teaching kind of in the same area as her. Um, Cindy brought up the whole. Oh, what did she? I'm losing my train of thought here. Either way, I'll come back to it. But that's the issue, is that you one of the big take homes that I have from the material that we've been covering in the past couple of days is that a lot needs to be done. Not a lot of people doing the things they necessarily should be in terms of policy making. And that's what it comes down to. A lot of this seems to be an issue of policy. So how can I have any effect on policy when I'll be teaching in an area and dealing with kids that are not involved in these issues of children who are not achieving in school, not behaving in school due to forces outside of their control, and are against their will basically shuttled out of the school system and into jail. And I just don't see myself, for a number of reasons, working in a school like that at least next year. Um, just I feel like the schools to which I've been applying have been a good way for me to see what type of schools that I'm interested in which I'm interested, and the types of schools in which I can see myself functioning appropriately. Um, and so, I don't know. And again, I start all of these blogs with, this is a question that's tough, and I really only brought up the question because I don't really have answers to it, and that's not very productive. But in terms of actually trying to find steps that I can take to help positively impact policy in this issue of students, especially students of color, finding themselves in this system of, this is the structure of the system is such that they are more likely to end up in jail due to forces outside of their control when it comes down to it. And that, the system is not set up to advocate for those children. And I won't, I mean, at least for the next period of time that I'll be teaching, I probably won't be involved with those students. I won't be in their communities. I won't be doing all these things that we're talking about. We've been talking about great ways to teach when you are teaching those kids, of course. And I mean, it's a legitimate question to me. What should I be doing? What can I do? What I'm not even asking what responsibilities I have, because I'm kind of already making the decision that you should have a responsibility to try to help out with issues like this. But if I'm not going to be in those types of areas and with those types of children, with those types of families, really. Um, I still totally see myself dealing with issues of instability in the home and issues with income and parent involvement and all of those things. But we've really been talking about the combination and the intensity of those circumstances for you know young men and women of color in urban areas who find themselves shuttled into the prison system. That's more of a specialized case because they have so many more of these factors going on and they're so much more intense than in other circumstances, like a small rural town in New England. Um, you still have to deal with low income and all of those things I was just talking about, but you won't have to deal with a lot of other important factors that contribute to the pipeline that we keep talking about. So, I think it's at least important for me to be focused on that, in that I don't want to necessarily call it a responsibility. I mean, you do kind of have a civil responsibility if you're going into education to do something. I don't know, do what you can to do. It feels wrong saying anything else. Um, so, so there you have it.